You know what's really notable about the censorship that's happening today that's directed at conservatives and Christians? This censorship by the tech giants, which has reached extreme levels of absolute thought control and mandatory hate speech by Facebook, which I'll explain in a second. This has been directed at those of us in the natural health industry for many years. So the censorship never really targeted conservatives until Trump won the election in 2016. At that point, there was a directive from the deep state, the CIA in particular, which told the tech giants and the media to start blacklisting and censoring all conservative voices so that Trump could not possibly be reelected in 2020. But you see, I've been subjected to this for at least maybe an additional 8 years, maybe 10 years. It's probably more like a decade. Because, of course, if you say anything against Big Pharma, if you say that water fluoridation is poison, if you say that vaccines contain dangerous, risky ingredients, you're going to be censored. And we have been censored, probably for a decade. And also during that time, if you dared say carbon dioxide is good for plants, that global warming caused by humankind is a science hoax. In fact, human contributions to so-called global warming are almost zero compared to the natural world and solar activity and natural cycles of the Earth and CO2 levels, which have risen and fallen over hundreds of millions of years, by the way. And we're at almost the lowest point in the history of the planet right now. But if you dared talk about that, you were censored. You were not just censored, but you were defamed. And you see, part of the intense evil of censorship that these tech companies are pulling off now, Google, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, you know the names. Part of the evil of it is that not only do they defame you and slander you by censoring you, but then they deny you the right to defend yourself. So your voice is silenced. It's like almost like being arrested and they take you into the courtroom and you are accused of all these horrible, heinous things in the courtroom. But then when it's your turn to testify, they slap a piece of tape over your mouth and you don't get to talk. So you have no ability to challenge their lies or challenge the basis of their censorship. You have no ability to tell your side of the story or present evidence in your defense. Maybe others have been lying about you, which is, of course, the case. Maybe you are actually factually correct, but they don't let you present that information. You're just silenced. You're oppressed. You're defamed for really no defensible reason. And that's the thing. All these tech giants, they say that they're censoring you for hate speech. What is hate speech? I still haven't seen any definition of hate speech that has been universally applied, because all these same tech platforms, they will gladly host content that calls for example, Trump to be strangled to death. That doesn't get banned. Or content that calls Christians evil people or expresses hatred against Israel, for example, or hatred against white people or hatred against gun owners, you name it. All that is allowed, even though that's hatred. In fact, Facebook has reached the point now where they require you to express hatred about certain people. If you're going to post about Alex Jones, for example, you have to say that you hate Alex Jones, you condemn Alex Jones, you have to say Alex Jones is, fill in the blank with some evil, hateful words, and then that post will be allowed. But if you say that Alex Jones makes a lot of sense, he brings up some good points, he was ahead of the curve on this, he warned us about all this years ago, he actually predicted 9/11 before it happened, any of those things, you're going to be banned, your post will be blacklisted, it won't be shared, shadow banning is in full effect, augmented by AI systems. And so we've actually reached the point now with these techno-fascists where you are required to express hatred towards certain people or you'll be banned from the platform. Now think about where this is going next. Right now, you have to hate people like Laura Loomer and Paul Joseph Watson, Louis Farrakhan, Milo Yiannopoulos. But in the next election, well, actually starting already now, you'll be required to hate President Trump. You'll be required to hate the Republican, but required to love the Democrat. Whoever the Democrat is, oh my God, will be showered with love and adoration. the most brilliant person in the world, like they said about Barack Obama as he was making these horrific economic mistakes. So you have to hate who they tell you to hate, and you have to love who they tell you to love. But it's more than that. This is the scientific dictatorship that has now descended upon our world. You have to advocate the scientific theories that are the official establishment views, even if those theories are complete bunk. It's as if the tech giants existed in the, 1500s, you would be required to say the earth was flat because the flat earth theory was the consensus of the time. Or if you lived on, Papua New Guinea or the Hawaiian Islands or the Philippines in the 1700s, you would be required to state that volcanoes are caused by angry gods, because that was the scientific consensus of the time. And if you dissented from that point of view and you said, no, there's plate tectonics at work here, this is a geothermal event, volcanoes are just the hot earth in underneath the crust, letting off steam and magma and rock, lava. If you said that, you would be banned. But that's the way it is today. If you challenge the scientific establishment or the medical establishment or the vaccine deep state, then you're silenced. So that's where we've arrived in human history. And understand that from this point, science can never advance because no one can challenge science. Medicine can never be reformed because no one can challenge the medical establishment. Nothing can ever move forward anymore because no one can challenge the system. No one can dissent from the establishment protected views, the so-called official narratives. And that's narratives on everything from transgenderism. You're required to love transgenderism. You're required to applaud and celebrate a biological man pretending to be a woman and winning 8 gold medals in the powerlifting championship. Because it's a man pretending to be a woman doing powerlifting. And that just happened, by the way. You're required to love that. You're required to applaud. If you express skepticism and say, wait a second, that's not a woman. What about all these other women who actually used to hold the records because they were the strongest women in the world? Now they've all been eclipsed by this one man who pretends to be a woman. You can't say that because, that's hate speech. That's not the official accepted opinion. Even though you are correct that men and women are biologically different, obviously, that men and women are not born the same, that men and women are part of nature, to have a male and a female. And you look around nature, you look across all the animal species in the world, especially mammals, of course, and you have males and females. Why is that? Because guess what? Sexual reproduction is the survival of the species. It's the sustainability of the human race. And it's in fact, that sustainability that is under attack by all of these who are pushing transgenderism. But you can't say that. You can't question that. Or you will be punished, banned, censored. So you see, all of this censorship that we have experienced has, in fact, just been a prelude to what's coming. And yes, you are next. You will not be allowed to think your own thoughts. You will not be allowed to express your own views. And if you dare do that, you will be cut off from modern society if we allow these techno-fascism trends to continue. You won't be allowed to have a credit card. Your bank will cut you off. Chase Manhattan Bank has already been cutting off people for being conservatives. Did you know that? Were you aware of that? E-commerce is being cut off from conservatives. You won't be able to engage in online commerce. You won't be able to be a person in modern society because you won't be able to have a LinkedIn profile. You won't be able to have a Snapchat page, a YouTube page, a Facebook page. Your website won't be indexed by Google. Nothing, unless you have the proper views that are dictated to you by this techno-fascist system. And this isn't some future dystopian sci-fi. This is here now, today. As of last week, this is now in place. And in fact, there have been echoes of this and ripples of this being rolled out for the last several years, as I mentioned when I opened this podcast. So this is where we are. And this is why the techno-fascists must be defeated. Now, we have a new nonprofit project called onlinecivilrights.org. And I encourage you to join that. We're building up a mailing list there, an email list, onlinecivilrights.org. And the point of this organization is to protect and defend the free speech rights of everyone, regardless of their politics, their sexual orientation, country of origin, belief systems, you name it. Everybody should have the right to speak. And that's what onlinecivilrights.org is all about. So join that. We're going to start sending out some emails pretty soon and some action campaigns pretty soon. And we're going to be calling for lawmakers to, of course, dismantle, oppose, regulate, whatever is required, sue these tech companies and either force them to respect the First Amendment or shut them down and dismantle them and prohibit them from operating in our society. You can't have a free society when it's dominated by techno-fascism, can you? You can't have a democracy when the techno-fascists have already pre-decided who you're allowed to compliment and who you are required to condemn. We have to defeat this. So join onlinecivilrights.org. Thank you for your support. This is Mike Adams here, the editor, publisher of NaturalNews.com and many other websites. Also watch more of my videos at Brighteon.com, the YouTube alternative for free speech videos. Thank you for listening. Learn about the benefits of cacao nibs. Learn about astaxanthin, learn about resveratrol or sulforaphane from broccoli sprouts or cruciferous vegetables. All of these nutrients and superfoods and much more are available now at healthrangerstore.com. But most importantly, we are the only online retailer in the world with an in-house ISO-accredited laboratory. We test what we sell. We test for heavy metals, we test for bacteria, we test for glyphosate, herbicide, and increasingly pesticides. We have clean nutrition. healthrangerstore.com. If you want clean supplements and incredibly potent superfoods that can enhance and protect your health, healthrangerstore.com is where you find it. Thank you for watching. If you want to support our mission, visit us at healthrangerstore.com for the world's largest selection of lab-verified superfood and nutritional products for healthy living. It's at healthrangerstore.com.